Hello everyone, my name is Anna Whipper and welcome back to Dramatic Reading Week. Today we're going with one of the rather thicker of the books for this week, and it's one that I discovered while I was looking for shorter stories for um, Dramatic Reading Week, and when I saw it I was like, I just have to read this because it's one of the Ever After High books. It's not the first one in the series. In fact, it's the second one in the series. So if you want to stop the video and go read the first one, if you own it, then that's fine. Anyway, I've never read a book in the Ever After High series, but I have seen the webisodes, and I have seen the dolls in the store, and I've heard a lot about them through YouTube and stuff. So I'm really excited to read this book because I love Ever After High because it's awesome sauce. Okay, so Ever After High, Kiss and Spell by Suede Selferts. I think that's what it says. Anyway, let's get this started. Chapter 1, A Delivery for Ginger. Ding! The light of the oven illuminated and the candy cane door popped open. Two perfectly golden muffins sat inside. Yum! Melody Piper threw back her quilt and scrambled out of bed. Be careful, they're hot, Gingerbread House warned. She'd been baking muffins since she was a child, so she knew they needed at least a minute to cool. But Melody didn't care. She loved Ginger's treats so much she was willing to risk a burnt finger or tongue. She slid one of the muffins onto a plate and began to carefully peel back the foil. I have to admit, when I met you on the first day of school, I thought it was really weird that you'd brought your toy oven, but now I think it's fabulous. Ginger smiled, remembering how she lugged her trunk up the dormitory stairs with a princess bake oven strapped to the top. Perhaps it had seemed a bit odd to bring an old toy to school, but it was a beloved toy, a reminder of sweet moments in her happy and carefree youth. She'd set it on her dormitory desk next to her cookbook collection, and whenever she looked at it, she remembered those days as a little girl when she'd played alone in her room making her very first treats. Though she'd long outgrown the toy off of it, it was still fun to use now and then. If I'd had one of these when I was little, I would have cooked all the time, Melody said. This muffin is delicious. What's the secret ingredient? Magic? A chef never gives away her secrets, Ginger said, with a twinkle in her eye. The truth was, it wasn't magic. It was simply a tiny colander that got hot enough to turn the batter into cake. But even if the muffins had been baked by a cooking charm or a sweet spell, no one would have raised an eyebrow. Magic was everywhere at Ever After High, a boarding school for sons and daughters of fairy tale characters. Ginger was the daughter of the Candy Witch, and Melody was the daughter of the Piped Piper. Though the two girls had different interests, Melody wanted to be a DJ while Ginger wanted to be a professional pastry chef, they got along quite well as roommates. Each respected the other's drive and passion. I gotta run, Ginger said, quickly pulling her long pink hair into ponytails. You can have the other muffin. Where are you going? Melody asked, her mouth full. To the mailroom. It's delivery day, Ginger reminded her. See you later. She waved goodbye to Melody, then to her pet fish, Jelly. He swam to the top of his tank, poked his yellow head above the water, and smiled at her. He might have been made out of candy, but he still acted like a real fish. Bye, Jelly said with a smack of his tail. Bye, Melody called as Ginger hurried out of the door. The mail room was all the way across campus, which meant Ginger had to descend a dozen staircases, dart down 7 hallways, weave around 3 fountains, cross 2 bridges, and duck beneath a sagging arch to get there. Many students were heading to breakfast in the cafeteria. Hey, Ginger, I really love those massive macaroons, called Raven, the Raven Queen, daughter of the universally feared Evil Queen. Can't wait to see what you whip up next, said Cedarwood, daughter of Pinocchio, the most famous puppet in all of the kingdoms. Ginger smiled proudly. To be appreciated for her baking was a dream come true. The cafeteria's breakfast offerings of rummy pigeon eggs and scorched porridge were hard to swallow, so Ginger tried to bring treats as often as possible. Thanks! She continued her hurried pace down the narrow stone staircase, and between a pair of muffin griffin statues, finally a bit out of breath, but giddy with expectation, she reached her destination. By fairy tale standards, the mailroom at Ever After High wasn't worth a second glance. It paled in comparison with the grand design of the school library, where the bookshelves were nestled between gigantic trees and enchanting tubes of yesteryear, waiting to be discovered. It couldn't compete with the foreboding cauldron room, where briny brooms toiled and bubbled, and where villainous plans were concocted, and it was totally boring compared with the Charmatorium, where chandelier light danced upon the glided stage, and princesses sat in plush box seats. The dusty old mailroom didn't stand out in any way. It's just a neglected space with some walls, a floor, a ceiling, and a counter. And because the current students received messages from home on their mirror phones, there were no stacks of envelopes or scrolls waiting to be picked up, as there had been a generous pass. However, a few packages still arrived on the 9 a.m. delivery couch. Hello, Ginger called. She tapped the little bell. Hello? Is there a delivery for me? A snort sounded. The lady who worked the counter peeked out of the back room. Her face was as ugly as a troll's on account of her being a troll. What do you want? She held an issue of the Troll Times magazine. The lead article, the latest hairstyles for your feet. May I please have my package? What's your name? Gingerbread House. The troll lady scratched under her armpit. Ginger who? Bread House. Gingerbread House. Ginger frowned. The troll lady should have known her name by now. Ginger came to the mailroom once a week for her special deliveries. Let me check. Sounds of searching rose from the back room. Shuffling footsteps, boxes being moved about, and grunting. Lots and lots of grunting. Ginger tapped her fingers on the counter. It's from the Fairy Tale Food Emporium, she explained. It's a box of special baking chocolate from Candy Mountain. It comes right off of the mountainside. It's for, hold your horses. More grunting, and the troll lady shuffled out of the back room and set a small box on the counter. Slide here, she pointed a hairy finger at the delivery receipt. Ginger penned her swirly signature, looping the G and turning the O into a smiley face. She wrote as if decorating a cake. And that was how she dressed, too. Upon first glance, one might find Ginger a bit, well, overstated? Yes, overstated. But her colorful wardrobe choices weren't made because she wanted attention. She'd spent most of her life trying to blend in and hide her true identity. More on that later. But her passion for making scrumptious treats grew with each year, and it began to influence her, everything about her, including her appearance. Ginger's skirt and jacket were accented with gumdrops and swirls that looked as if they'd come from the tip of an icing dispenser. Even her shoes seemed to have been dipped in frosting. A bright candy confection necklace and cupcake shapes had completed the sweet statement. With her pink hair and glasses, Ginger was a colorful sight. Everything looks better with a little decoration, she believed, or a cherry on top. Which was why she stared at the troll lady's drab brown dress and rope belt. If only she had a ribbon of blue along the hem or a sprinkle of yellow on the collar. Chocolate, you say? The troll lady scratched her hairy chin. You shouldn't be eating chocolate. It gives you pimples. Ginger adjusted her glasses. The troll lady appeared to be an expert on that particular subject. Seeing that the fair number of pustules were sprouting on her nose. Actually, I'm using chocolate to make a glaze for my spelly donuts, Ginger told her. On my cookbooking mirror cast Spell's Kitchen, she beamed proudly. But the troll lady showed no signs of recognition. Haven't you heard of my show? I teach people how to bake yummy things. I don't watch the shows that teach you stuff. I like Housewives on Trolling Country. She picked a bit of food from her single tooth. Those gals really know how to throw a punch. She ate a bit of food. You seen that new show, Daring Day? That one's real good. You don't learn nothing. Ginger didn't admit that she had spent a whole hour yesterday watching Daring Day, a reality mirror cast that focused on Ever After High's most popular prince, Daring Charming. Nor did she admit that she was mentally green with jealousy because he had more views for a single episode than all of her episodes combined. Students liked to eat her treats, but they didn't seem interested in learning how to make them. "Thanks for the package," she said. Then she tucked the box under her arm and headed outside. The squad was busy this morning as students gathered to chat. With her heels clicking along the cobblestones, Ginger shook away the feelings of doubt, so that if she didn't have as many views or crowd loads as Daring Charming, once she'd graduated from Ever After High, she'd open her own chain of bakeries. She'd publish cookbooks and create an entire line of gourmet treats under the label Ginger's Goodies. By sharing her talents on a large scale, she'd help make the world a happier place. For Gingerbread House believed with every ounce, gram, and sprinkle of her soul that good food was one of the secret ingredients to happiness, whether the time of celebration or sadness. Beautifully prepared goodies had the power to bring people together. She smiled as her thoughts drifted toward the destiny she wanted with all her heart. "Hey, watch it!" someone grumbled. "Sorry, Ginger." "Sorry," Ginger said. She'd been so caught up in her daydreams, she'd bumped right into a group of girls who were standing in the center of the squad, holding their hocus lattes. "What's going on?" "Daring," one of them said, then pointed to an enormous mirror that hung from one of the school's grand trees. As Ginger peered over their shoulders, the title "Daring's Day" flashed on the mirror screen. The girl squealed as the prince's face appeared. He was brushing his thick blonde hair. "He's so dreamy," one of the girls said. "This is the best show ever after," another girl chirped. She wore a shirt that read Team Daring. Daring smiled into the camera, nearly blinding the viewers with his dazzling white teeth. Then he set a brush aside and spritzed cologne on his neck. The camera closed in on the bottle. Its label read, "Be Daring." Available in 8-ounce and 1-gallon jugs at Ever After High bookstore. Daring told his viewers, like bees seeking the pollen, the groupies swarmed toward the bookstore. They all tried to cram into the doorway at the same time. "Me first! Out of my way! I'm buying 3 jugs!" Product placement, Ginger thought. How very clever. She didn't have any product placement in her show, but she wasn't famous like Daring Charming. "Hey, Ginger," Ashlyn Ella, the daughter of Cinderella, waved as she passed by. "Hi, Ginger." Holly O'Hare, daughter of Rapunzel, also waved. "Hi," Ginger called as she appreciated the kindness that many students offered her. But that hadn't always been the case. Although most students loved her sweets and thought she was a nice person, others were suspicious of Ginger on account of her fairy tale destiny. Unlike Ashlyn and Holly, and Gingerbread House was not the daughter of a popular princess. She was the daughter of a witch, the Candy Witch.